All right. It is Wednesday. We had quite a bit going on earlier, so I'm a little bit late with this week, but I wanted to wait until the first frost was coming. I told you guys as soon as Halloween got here, then it would be Veterans Day and Thanksgiving, and the rest of the year is gone. All you got to do is walk into Walgreens, it ain't got Christmas stuff up. So, it's that time of year, everything kind of speeds up. We're still in court. We're doing some motions this week to get ready for trials next week. It will be a co-defendant murder case where people came from out of town and are accused of killing somebody else from out of town. When we live in an area like we live in, with the beach and with a lot of tourism and with 20 million visitors, some of those visitors aren't from Ohio or West Virginia. Some of them are from Williamsburg and Florence and, real local, but they all seem to come here and start a beef or finish a beef with somebody that they had back in their hometown. Unfortunately, we end up getting a lot of those. So we got a lot of business going on here, and it's not necessarily our own. People ask me all the time, is this the tourist? It's not really the tourist. It's people that have driven an hour and a half day trippers, and they're the ones that bring the most problems. Our locals, and then those people that are within a 70 to 100 mile radius, and for whatever reason they come here and end up pulling life imprisonment or 30 or 40 or 50 years. People always joke and say, come to Myrtle Beach on vacation and leave on probation. The truth is, if you've been following this, you're leaving on 20, 30, 40 years for the most part. And that ain't the time to get, all upset and go to jerking and crying. The time for that is before you ever come and do the crime. But we don't get, as prosecutors, that ain't really our job to stop you from doing it. We just have to come in and punish the bad conduct when we can. Here's a couple of instances that took place last week, all tied up in one. There was a Joseph William Bennett, 37 years old, and he had several burglaries. He pled to 3 counts of burglary in the second degree violent, and he received a sentence of 10 years to run concurrent. So concurrent is the most important word that you can hear out of that whole sentence. I try to be as open with you as I can. It is still confusing. People still get this mixed up. So I'm going to show you as easy as I can tell you. Consecutive, if I said, Jill, you have 10 years and then 10 years consecutive, that means 10 and 10. That is one after the other. If the judge says, Jill, you've got 10 years on that crime and 10 years on that crime, and it runs concurrently, it's just like that. It's still 2 pages, but it's served at the same time. This is a lot worse than that, but it's still 2 pages. I don't know where that came from. I didn't come up with that rule. It's been around for a long time. But you'll have people that are saying, my God, that's 30 years or 40 years. No, it's concurrent. Concurrent means at the same time. Consecutive, and we do that sometimes, the judges do, that means 10 plus 10. So, I'm not saying that's a great sentence, a bad sentence, a good sentence. My whole purpose is to tell you what actually the judges do the sentencing. So I want to tell you whatever that is, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm the messenger. Now, we play a big part in getting it ready for trial, and we did here. But he pled to 3 counts. The second thing that you need to know about that is when you have 2 strikes, like the brochure read here, that means that when he gets out, and he will, if he don't die in prison, he'll get out at some point. He's 37. say he gets out at 47, whatever, and he gets another burglary, that'll be the third strike, and the judge has got no choice at that point but to give him life imprisonment without possibility of parole. So sometimes we put strikes on people to know when they get out, that was your chance back there 10 years ago. Now you've messed up again, it's life imprisonment. So I hope that that clears up a lot of the stuff about concurrent and consecutive. Now, another thing that we put out this week is a lot of times what we will do is to ask for a federal or state grant. That means to you, the citizens of Horry and Georgetown County, you don't have to come out of pocket to pay for that prosecutor or that secretary or that piece of equipment. That grant is shared by everybody across the state or everybody across the United States. So a lot of times we write grants to keep our taxes here from going up. We pay for it from a fund. Now, as a U.S. citizen, you still pay, taxes on that piece of equipment or whatever. But your tax burden on that piece is shared by 360 million United States citizens as opposed to 360,000 Horry County citizens. But with all of these grants, at some point, especially if it's a DUI type situation like we wrote here, at some point, if it's not a continuation grant, that grant could run out and the federal or the state people that have paid for 3, 4, 5 years are going to say, I need you to pick that up. So we always take it before county council on the premise that at some point, 3, 4, 5 years after you've got a free prosecutor, they may ask you to pick it up. And the county would say, hey, I don't want to do that, or I do. They've agreed with us on this. We wrote a grant for a DUI prosecutor. This person will exclusively do DUI cases in magistrate's court. Of course, with a DUI, the most you can get is 30 days in jail. The least you can get is some sort of a fine of $700. It is amazing. I started off by talking about the area that we live in. But obviously, in Horry and Georgetown counties, you get a lot more DUIs than you might get. It's a destination place. A lot of times people come down here and party. You're going to get more here than you're going to get in Sumter. You're going to get more here than you might get in Collington County or wherever. They just kind of get the locals that are around there drinking and driving. We get everybody's locals. But anyway, it would amaze you a number of cases that these guys try. It is usually a one-day trial, so they can pop right in there, try it. If they win, it's great. If they lose, go get them again. It's a very complicated law. But Jess Glasgow, who had this grant before, he tried 15 cases last year. Every year trying 15 cases. Now, if a general sessions person did that, we only have like 12 terms of court a year for trials. So it would be we have 24 terms of court a year for trials. But 15 is pretty stout for one prosecutor. Keep in mind, it doesn't take as long to try a DUI as it would a murder case or burglary, and it's in magistrate's court, so it goes a lot quicker. We've hired this young man straight out of law school. His name is Gray Harrison, and 100% of his time will be trying DUIs in magistrate's court. I hope that explains a lot of stuff. We'll be back together next week. We'll start that jury selection on Monday. Friday of next week is Veterans Day, so next week will be Monday through Thursday, and I'll catch you up on any motions from this week and let you know sort of how that trial is starting next week. Have a great week.